provide a comparison of the House Bill 4339, which is the PIFITA version of the lower house, House Bill 9227, which is SIMEPA, and then the DOF proposal of package 4. So for the first item, which is interest income, the DOF proposal is everything at 20%. This is in comparison to our previous proposal, which is to reduce it to 15% gradually. So we're now adopting the House Bill 4339 version with regards to interest income. And as you can see there, we provided the revenue implication from 2025 to 2028 per each item. So for SIMEPA, for interest income, there's nothing for savings deposit, time deposits, FCDUs. Next slide, please. And so these are the other items for interest income. So all at 20%. Next slide. And then for royalties, DF proposal is same as tax code, so there will be no difference. This is a departure from the previous proposal of decreasing gradually the royalties from 20 to 15%. We also note that for SIMEPA, there's no provision on royalties. For prizes and other winnings, again, no decline, same as tax code. We retain what is written in the tax code. Next slide. This one is the one with SIMEPA provision, the PCSO winnings. So for under the DOF proposal, same as tax code. So I think 20% if greater than 10 pesos, 10,000 pesos yung winnings. Under the SIMEPA, reduction from 20 to 10% final tax on winnings above 10,000 pesos. So that will be around 6 billion pesos negative from 2025 to 2028. Now, for the dividend income, SIMEPA, basically there's a reform there to decrease the dividend income for non-resident from 20 or 25 to 10%. The DOF proposal is 15% for non-resident, which is equivalent to international tax treaties at 15. So relatively minor revenue implication. Next slide. And then this one is a transaction tax. This is the provision with which is related to the capital market formation. So under the DOF revised proposal, we are okay now to reduce stock transaction tax from 0.6 to 0.1%. Before, we wanted a gradual decrease, but now we're gonna propose one big time decline from 0.6 to 0.1%. And we note that the revenue implication of this from 2025 to 2028 is around negative 30 billion. So it's already similar to the SIMEPA proposal. Next slide. This one are the tax on financial intermediaries. This is the making it all to 5%. Currently, it's 1, 3, or 5. So given this proposal, this is the one I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest positive gains under the package 4 of the DOF proposal, which will generate 31.82 billion pesos. We note that in SIMEPA, there's no such provision. They only have a removal of derivatives from the coverage of the 7% GRT, which is a minor decline of around 0.06 billion pesos from 2025 to 2028. Next slide. So we also have here for the HMOs, instead of VAT, under the DOF proposal, it's a 2% premium tax. Next slide. And then this is the excise tax on pickups. Again, under the SIMEPA, there's no such provision, equivalent provision. This will generate around 30 billion from 2025 to 2028. Again, one of the biggest positive revenues under the DOF package 4 proposal. Next slide. Then the last items are with regards to DSTs. So the first one, which is also related to capital market, which is the original issue of certificate of stocks. Currently, this one is at 1%. We are reducing it to 0.75%, and it will generate negative 7.1 billion revenue forgone from 2025 to 2028. There's no such equivalent provision under SIMEPA. So ito yung Sir, Mr. Chair, isa pa sa mga related to capital market. And then the others almost the same. It's just in ad valorem. Next slide. Not much here. Next slide. So we remove all bills of exchange or draft, and then others just ad valorem, translated to ad valorem. Next slide. For the life insurance under the DOF package 4, so those that are pre-need will pay the same DST as life insurance. So that's maximum of 200 pesos. So this is also related to, and under the SIMEPA, there is no equivalent provision. Now, the item 11, which is the policies of insurance, this is the non-life. So again, under the SIMEPA, it will have a DST similar to life, which is a maximum of 200 pesos. And it will generate revenue foregone of around 65.6 billion pesos from 2025 to 2028. Under the DOFP4 proposal, we're proposing to reduce the rate from 12.5%, which is the current rate, down to 10%. So that will generate a revenue foregone of around 13 billion from 2025 to 2028. So that's the biggest difference for the non-life. It's the rate. SIMEPA, maximum 200 pesos. P4, it's 10%. Next slide. Item number 12 is also related to non-life. So similar, SIMEPA, 200, maximum 200 pesos. DOFP for proposal is 10%. From 12.5%, it will become 10%. So again, the revenue foregone is, the difference in the revenue foregone between SIMEPA and DOF is significant. So 6 billion under SIMEPA, 1.2 billion only for DOF proposal. Then policies of annuities and pre-need, again, under the DOF proposal, this will now be treated as life, similar to life. Next slide. Indemnity bonds, no change here. Next slide. Certificates, DST on certificates, we're proposing to remove it under the package for proposal, DOF. Next slide. So we don't have yet an estimate for the July horse racing tickets